Hi everyone, I'm Hannah. Thank you so much for joining me. In today's practice, we are doing yoga for stress. And this is quite a short sequence because a lot of the time when we are feeling stressed, we don't always have an hour or 2 hours to put aside in our day to do some yoga or any sort of practice that just helps us become a little bit more peaceful and calm. So I hope this will be helpful and useful for you to be able to utilize, whether that's first thing in the morning, last thing at night, or just if you find a spare 30 minutes in your day somewhere to be able to just come back to yourself and reconnect with who you are. We're going to begin sitting in our practice today. So as always, if you have props, feel free to use them. If you don't have props, something like a rolled up towel or a blanket or cushion can be a really handy thing to have, especially if you're quite new to yoga. So you can choose to sit however you would like to sit. And if that's on a chair, that's absolutely fine. The most important thing we're looking for is that our spine is aligned. So as you just get comfy, check in and see if you can find a position that allows your head to sit directly above your shoulders and your shoulders above your hips. And then gently engaging our lower abdominal muscles just to support our lower back. You're welcome to close the eyes or simply let your gaze soften if you'd prefer to keep them open. Hands can rest anywhere at all that's comfortable, and I just want us to take a moment to check in with how we're doing right now in this moment. We're not looking for anything in particular. And if you're here doing this video, you're probably feeling somewhat stressed. So just check in and see if you can avoid judging yourself or trying to make yourself feel something other than what's happening for you right now. So let's just notice what our breath is doing. And if we're able to just let the breath be natural for the next minute or so. So don't try to change the breath or deepen the breath. Just observe what your natural breath is doing. And then observe how the body feels. And then also observe what's happening for you inside your mind. What sort of thoughts are you having? What mood are you in? Maybe most importantly, what speed are your thoughts traveling at? How fast is your mind moving? When you're ready to, let's gently guide our awareness to our breath. And you're welcome to place one hand or both hands on the belly if you would like. We're just going to let the breath slowly begin to deepen. So as you take your next breath in, allow your belly to start to fill. If you have the hands on the belly, you may like to breathe into the palms of the hands. As you breathe out, just let the belly gently draw in towards the spine. Feeling the hands almost as though they're being pulled in by that inwards contraction. And then again, breathing in, let the belly fill with air. Breathing out, controlling the breath just gently now, slowing the breath down. And you can breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth if that's comfortable, if that helps you to release any tension. If you prefer, you can be breathing in and out through the nose only at this point. Taking another few rounds like that, just some gentle, deep breathing. Just allowing our sitting bones to really connect us downwards towards the earth and feeling the top of the head almost gently lengthening up towards the sky. Seeing as we take these last few deep breaths, if we can just really arrive in our body. Maybe just giving ourselves permission to let go of whatever it is we were doing before we came to start this practice. Whatever it is we need to do afterwards, just letting ourselves be present. You finish your next exhale breath. You can gently take your hands off your belly if they're there and let your breath just continue to flow in and out. Just taking a moment to really lengthen up through the spine ever so gently. Maybe roll the shoulders up, down and back if you feel as though you have a bit of tension there. Let the muscles in the face relax. We're going to do just a few short rounds of some alternate nostril breathing. which helps to balance the two sides of the brain, which can be very helpful in stressful situations. So you're going to take your right hand up to the face, and you can take any position of the fingers that feels comfortable to you. I take my index and middle finger and I place them in between my two eyebrows just above the nose. And we're going to close the right nostril with our right thumb and take a breath in through the left nostril. And then closing the left nostril with our ring and pinky finger, we're going to exhale through the right nostril. Inhaling through the right nostril. And exhaling through the left. Inhaling through the left. Exhaling through the right. Inhaling through the right. And exhaling through the left, making sure the breath is reaching the belly. Inhaling through the left. Exhaling through the right. Inhaling through the right. Exhaling through the left. Inhaling through the left. Exhaling through the right. Inhaling through the right. And taking a final exhale through the left. When you finish that breath, release that right hand and just take a few breaths in and out through both nostrils. If your eyes are closed, you can let them open gently when you're ready to. Let's bring the soles of the feet together into Baddha Konasana. And grabbing hold of the feet or shins or ankles if you'd like, just to help lengthen through the spine. So find that beautiful alignment. Make sure you're engaging your lower abdominal muscles so we support our spine. As you take a breath in, I'd like us to dive forwards with the chest. So taking almost like a flat back position forwards. And then we're going to hug the belly button into the spine, curl out through the back as if you're doing a cat pose. And then just slowly roll up, stacking the head above the spine. So one round of breath, one little spine roll here. So inhaling, diving forwards with the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Exhaling, draw the belly in, round out through the back, tuck the chin. Head comes to stack. Two more times. Inhaling, diving forwards with the chest. Exhaling, hugging the abdominal muscles in, round out through the spine. One more round with breath. You can move at whatever speed or pace matches your breath today in this moment. So don't worry if your timing is a little bit different to mine. I'm going to reverse directions now. So this time as you inhale, hug the belly in, round out through the back, drop the chin. And then as you exhale, diving forwards, lift the head first, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then come up through that flat back. 3 more times. Inhaling. And exhaling. Beautiful. So if you haven't done these before, sorry, I should have probably turned to the side first of all. We're just rolling through the spine. So if you want to have a little look. Beautiful. Last round of breath. We're making our way up to sit, just finding a tall seat for a moment. Beautiful. And then using the hands if you'd like to draw the knees together. And it might feel nice just to bring the hands behind you and just drop the knees side to side for a moment, just to release the hips. Be a pretty intense place to be for the legs and hips in that butterfly position. Let's come into our all fours when we're ready. No rush, take your time. And if you are practicing on quite a hard surface, then feel free, if you have a blanket or cushion or something to pad up under your knees, then you may like to place something there. So just move things through our cat and cow. Hands are under shoulders, knees are under hips, spread the fingers. Spine is long, and wait for an inhale breath to soften the belly. So we're just continuing that extension and flexion of the spine here in our all fours. Exhaling to round, and then inhaling, belly softens. So just moving forwards and backwards with the spine, and seeing again if we can really start to connect our breath with our movements. So the breath is guiding us. Okay, we are gently using a little bit of control to slow the breath down, but the breath should be comfortable. It shouldn't feel uncomfortable to breathe. Beautiful, really nice. Taking another couple of rounds here. And we're going to get ready just to take a few breaths in our child's pose in a moment. So do remember at any time during our practice, you're always welcome to come to your child's pose whenever you want to take a break, whenever it feels needed. So as always, while you practice, especially when you're practicing online and you don't have a physical teacher there with you, listen to your body, respect your body, your thoughts, your mind, your emotions. Take a break whenever you need to. So any variation of child's pose, just for a few breaths. Beautiful. When you're ready to, let's slowly come back up into that all four shape. We're going to tuck the toes and we're taking a high plank position today just for a few breaths. Engage your core, find that strength in the body, find the strength in the breath. Think about lengthening from the top of the head all the way down to the heel. So we're really, really strong and active here. Our elbows are ideally in a micro bend and our base knuckles press into the ground. If you want a little bit more intensity, take the right foot off the mat just for 3 seconds. Make sure you keep breathing. And then if you have that right foot lifted, bring it down, take the left foot off just for 3 seconds. It's completely optional. And bring the left foot down if it's lifted. Let's all push the hips up to the sky. Just finding a downward facing dog. And you may like to move around a little bit on this down dog. So if it feels good, maybe just a walk out through the legs, maybe shake the head. Take your time. If you want to stay still, just stay still. Finding your breath wherever you are. Beautiful. As always, make sure in your downward dog that you hug your lower abdominal muscles in. So pull your belly button towards the top of your pubic bone and the top of your pubic bone in towards the belly button. So there's a real dual motion going on, keeping our lower back safe. Okay, we're going to take our time just to walk the feet forwards towards the hands. So no rush. You can take as many steps as you like. You can bend the knees if you want. Just moving with your body, your breath, taking any stance at all with the feet. They might be together, they might be hip width, like my feet today. And we're just going to hang out here in a forward fold for a moment. So do whatever you like with the arms. Again, just finding that breath. And if you want to sway or rock a little bit, go for it. If you want to find stillness, if that feels good for you today, go for that. Beautiful. When you're ready to, let's all just let our arms dangle down towards the ground. We're going to soften the knees and then keeping the feet active. So all 4 corners of the feet pressing into our mat without letting the toes clench. We're going to roll up through the spine. Nice and slowly. The breath comes in and out at your own pace. Abdominal muscles pull in. The head comes to lift last. Maybe you give the shoulders a roll. Just stand for a moment. Sometimes we can feel a little bit dizzy when we come up from the ground. So just pause, let yourself just reconnect. Find your breath, find your stability. And you can either bring the feet together or they can stay hip width if that's more comfortable for you. But really find that solid foundation as you come to stand in your mountain pose. All 4 corners of the feet grounded. Toes are active but not clenching. Head balances over shoulders, shoulders over hips, hips over heels. Make sure you're not clenching the muscles in your bottom. Bottom muscles should be relaxed, but legs are active. So press the floor away with the feet. Hug the legs inwards as if there's something in between your thighs, but keep the bottom relaxed. Remember, there's a very, very slight tilt of the pelvis in our mountain pose. So make sure that we're not letting that all go and crunching our lower back. So lengthening through the lower spine. Oh, beautiful. We're going to take a breath in when we're ready. And let's just float the arms up in front of us, all the way up overhead. And then breathing out, let's just take a fold forwards. Bend the knees, but try to keep the spine long and a flat back for as long as you can. Beautiful. Inhale, find a flat back position. Lift up as high as you need for this. And then exhale, bring the hands down to the mat. Bend the knees if you wish. And we're going to slide our right foot back. We're going to keep our right knee lifted. We're coming into a high lunge. So take your time. Once you have your feet stable, you might bring the hands up onto that left thigh. You might float the arms forwards and up. Just find what works for you. Now, as we come up into this high lunge, squeeze the thighs together. Make sure the toes on that left front foot aren't clenching, but the foot is active. And imagine that your left shin is being pulled forwards, while at the same time your right heel is being pulled to the wall behind you. So again, we have real dual motion and strength happening through these legs. Check that you're still breathing, and we're going to very slowly take a bit of a twist towards our left leg. So we're going to scissor the arms open. It doesn't matter how far or how deep you go into this movement. Keep the breath flowing in and out nice and slow. And then coming back up when you're ready. There's no rush whatsoever. We're just slowly making our way up. Beautiful. As you come back up into that lunge, extend the hands forwards and down, or bring the hands onto the knee if you need to. Try to avoid collapsing into that left hip as you lower down to the ground. And we're going to slide that left foot back into our downward facing dog. Taking a breath or two here. Again, maybe you find stillness here. Maybe you move. Beautiful. And now as we take our next inhale breath, we're just going to glide forwards into that high plank position. Okay, now as we exhale, we're going to push straight back to our downward dog. So we're just here for a moment. Exhaling, using that core strength, lifting the hips as we slide back. Beautiful work. Okay, this time when you're ready, breathe in, start to step the right foot forwards, and you might have to take more than one step. It's absolutely fine. We want to get all four corners off that right foot flat. Left knee can either stay lifted or you can lower it down this time. And again, if you're on quite a hard surface or your knees are a bit sensitive, pad something underneath that left knee. We're going to keep the left hand down and we're twisting towards the right leg this time. Okay, the right fingertips stretch up to the sky. Maybe you look up at that hand. If that doesn't feel good for the neck, you might look down at your left fingertips on your mat. Breathing here. And see if you can think about hugging the belly button in towards the spine. Beautiful. On your next exhale, let's just thread that right arm back down. As we inhale, we're going to step the left foot forwards to the right, finding a forward fold at the front end of our mat. Beautiful. Breathe in. Flat back position. Lift up as high as you need. Exhale. Fold forwards. As we breathe in, let's just float the arms up. You can bend the knees or keep the legs straight, but try to come up through a flat back position if possible. And exhale. Maybe bring the hands through heart center. Gently pressing the palms in towards one another. Just engaging the abdominal muscles, the chest muscles, the pelvic floor. Beautiful. Release the hands down by the side of the body, finding your Tadasana. Let's do it on the other side. Breathing in, reach the arms up. Exhaling, folding forward, soften the knees if you like, flat back. Inhaling, lift up halfway, find that length through the spine. Exhale, hands down, and this time we're sliding our left foot back. We're finding that high lunge position. So take your time. Again, you might walk up, hands on that right thigh. You might float the arms forwards and up. However you're moving, try to work with finding stability. Okay, beautiful. So from here, let's start our twist. This time we're scissoring the arms open over our right thigh. So squeeze the thighs together. Remember to pull the right thigh forwards and the left heel back. Taking a few breaths, moving at your own pace. We're going to slowly reverse when we're ready. Really focusing on keeping stability here through our foundation. Coming forwards and down when we're ready, or you can walk the hands down that right thigh if you need to, trying to avoid collapsing into that right hip joint. Let's find our downward dog when we're ready to. Sliding that right leg back. Okay, let's get ready to find that high plank one more time. On an inhale breath, using that power, that strength within us, gliding forwards. As we exhale, shifting straight back. Beautiful work, everyone. Let's bring the left foot forwards this time. Take as many steps as you need. Now it's your choice to either keep the right knee lifted or you can lower that right knee down. Right hand stays on the ground and we're twisting towards the left thigh this time. Left fingertips stretch up to the sky. hugging the belly button into the spine. Maybe looking up at your left fingertips if that doesn't feel good for the neck. Maybe looking down at your right hand on the ground. Beautiful work. On your next breath out, thread that left hand down. As you breathe in, the right foot steps forwards to the left. We're going to exhale in our forward fold. As you breathe in, finding that flat back position. Breathing out to release. And then inhaling, reaching the arms forwards and up. Coming up to a flat back. You can bend the knees if you wish. Exhaling, find your way into hands at heart center. And then just releasing into your mountain pose, your Tadasana. Just connecting with the breath, letting the breath be natural for a moment, just observing. Beautiful. When you're ready to, roll the shoulders. Have a little shake out of anything that you need. We're going to do a balancing pose today. Tree pose. One of my favorites, just for the fact that when we think about trees and they have these magnificent roots that go so deep down into the ground, hold them steady. I think sometimes it really helps us to think a little bit more about, what's connecting us to the ground, what's rooting us down, keeping us anchored and steady. So before we do any balancing, I want you to really think about this idea of rooting down through the feet. Okay, so maybe look at your toes, flex your toes a little bit, spread the toes, and then without clenching the toes, just really try to feel the ground firmly underneath as much of the surface area of both feet as possible. And then pay attention to what happens in the legs. Can the legs engage? Can you find that connection through the soles of the feet? But can you keep that connection all the way up into the legs, all the way up into the core, all the way up to the very top of the head? So we want to feel as though there is some sort of connection between the very top of us and the very bottom of us when we balance. Okay, so when you're ready to, we're just going to let our weight shift into that right sole of the foot. So I don't want you to change anything that you're doing with that leg. It might have to work a little bit harder, that's about it. But we're not going to change any position of the feet. We're just going to see if we can maybe flex that left foot off the ground. Okay, that right leg's probably working really strong, which is good. Make sure you keep breathing. Maybe you just stay here. Hands can be on the hips or by the side of the body. It can be at heart center. This might be your balance today. So we're really focusing on the foundation, being steady, anchoring ourselves to something. Okay, if you want to go a little bit further, then you can slide that left foot up. You can bring it either to the thigh if that feels comfortable, or you might just bring the sole of the left foot onto the right calf muscle. You can use your hands to help you if you need. Never place the foot at the knee. We don't want to put pressure there when we don't need to. And if you are having the hands together at heart center, press the palms together. Another way just to help us find that inner strength, that inner connection that we need. Okay, if you need more of a challenge, maybe you close your eyes here. Make sure that you're breathing. If the eyes are open, see if you can find a point. It might be on the wall, the floor, out the window, but something to gaze at. Okay? Then let your gaze soften. Just come back to your breath. See if you can let your awareness come into the body. Keep grounding down through that anchoring right foot and leg, and keep engaging through the body and lifting up through the top of the head. Can you find that connection that holds all of you together and keeps you in place? So we're going to slowly begin to exit out of this without falling if possible. So if the eyes are closed, maybe they open. You can gently release the hands and then gently release that left leg down to the ground. Give the legs a shake if they need it. And let's just ground down through both feet once again. Finding that connection. Really trying to find that sense of rooting down or anchoring down. Finding that inner steadiness. Okay, and when you're ready to, see if you can let your weight shift over into that left foot and leg, floating the right foot off the mat. And option one is just stay here, find your breath. Engage down through that supporting leg, really focusing on your foundation. Option two is maybe you start to bring that right foot onto the leg, as high as feels comfortable for you. If you are bringing the foot into the thigh, so remember you need to press the foot into the thigh and the thigh back into the foot with equal pressure to keep the foot in place to stop it slipping down. Okay, there's a lot of dual motion and anchoring going on in our tree pose. So anything you want to do with the hands is fine. Maybe you close the eyes. maybe you soften your gaze. Wherever you are, find your breath. Sometimes when we are feeling stressed, the mind is overwhelmed, and it can feel as though we're almost not able to hold on to anything. So sometimes, grounding our physical bodies can be really beneficial and helpful in grounding our minds, slowing our minds down, giving our minds something to anchor onto or connect to. It's reminding us that we are here, we're steady, we're stable, we're okay. So if those eyes are closed, gently let them open. Let's slowly release. Bring the hands down, gently release that leg. And again, if you need to, maybe you shake out the legs. Those calf muscles might have been working really hard. Okay, and let's just take a moment, roll the shoulders, find your Tadasana, your mountain pose once again. And let's get ready to make our way down to the ground. So we're just gonna roll down through the spine. No rush, tucking the chin, softening the knees, and just take your time, hugging the belly in vertebrae by vertebrae. Hopefully it feels like a bit of a nice massage for the spine. It's up to you. If you'd like to take one last downward dog, if that feels like a nice place to go, you can bring the hands down, you can walk the feet back. If you'd prefer, you can come to child's pose for these next few breaths instead. So you just see what feels most needed for your body and your practice today. And when we feel ready to, there's no rush at all, we're all going to slowly make our way over onto our sitting bones. I'm just taking the legs up. I'm going to do a seated twist today. So legs are out in front of us. You may like to prop your hips up on something if you find it quite uncomfortable or difficult to sit up in a straight line for the spine here. If you're sitting back in this sort of position, grab yourself a cushion, towel, blanket, yoga block, anything at all that you may have to give yourself that lift to align the spine. So let's hug our right leg in towards our chest. Option 1 is just keep the foot here outside the left leg. Option 2 is cross it over. And then we're just hugging ourselves up tall, finding that length through the spine. And we're going to twist from the belly button and then go up from there through the spine. So start to imagine your belly button wanting to hug in towards that right thigh, and your arms can just adjust. Okay, it doesn't matter how deep you twist into this, but start from the lower spine first. Hug the belly button into the spine. You might take that right hand behind the back if that feels good. Maybe you look over your shoulder if that feels good for your neck. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. And find your breath. Make sure you're still breathing into the belly. Gently exhaling when you're ready. Release the head first if the head is twisting, then the shoulders. Lower back comes last. Release the legs. Let's change sides. So left leg comes up, maybe it crosses over. Hug yourself up tall. So before you do any twisting, just create as much length as you can in the spine. Create that space. And then as we begin to twist, the lower spine twists first, then the upper spine. We've got all this beautiful space for us to move into. Just breathing here for a few moments. It's actually just started raining here. I'm not sure if you can pick that up or not on the audio. Quite a beautiful, relaxing sound to practice yoga to. Wonderful. We're going to slowly untwist, head releases, and upper chest. Lower spine comes last. Let's unravel the legs. Scoot down on your mat if you need to so you can find your way down onto your back. And it's entirely up to you how you get down onto your back. I personally like to do a little bit of a roll down just to get my abs working because I'm pretty lazy these days and don't do as much ab work as I should. So gotta fit in the core work wherever I can, but if you would rather find some other way to get down to the ground, that's absolutely fine. Let's take a long stretch out of the body. As we come down here, lengthening long. Any last little movements you'd like to take before we lie back for a minute of Shavasana to end our practice? And as you come into your Shavasana position, your corpse pose, if you are using a yoga mat, try to have your feet in about the bottom corners of your mat. That's just a good distance to let your hip joints roll out and relax so that we're not using any tension when we're trying to be as relaxed as we can in Shavasana. Palms lying face upwards and a little bit away from the body. And if you can, let the eyes close. If not, let your gaze soften. And let's just bring our attention to our breath. Let the breath return to a normal, natural pace so we can let go of controlling the breath or making it deeper. Just let the breath be however it needs to be. And just bring that awareness into the body. Let the body soften. Let everything relax. And whatever's happening in the mind, acknowledge it and tell yourself that that's okay. Whatever your thoughts are, whatever your mood is, don't panic, don't stress. Even if you are stressed, it's okay to be stressed. So see if in these last moments of our practice, we can just be aware of ourselves with complete acceptance. No judgment, just acceptance of breath, body, and mind. When you're ready to, you can let the toes and fingers gently start to stretch and move. And let the knees bend in. And you can slowly roll onto one side. Maybe taking a breath on one side if you'd like to. And when you feel ready to, we're just gently pressing our way up into any comfortable sitting position. You can have the eyes closed, or if you would rather open them, again, keep that gaze soft. And just letting yourself sit up tall. We're just sitting for a few moments. But try to find that length and that alignment through the spine. Head over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Let's anchor down through our seat, through our sitting bones. Let's feel tall and lifted through the top of the head. Let the shoulders be soft, the muscles in the face relax. And just check in one last time. How are we? Regardless of what the answer is, can we be okay with that? You're ready to, let's take one last breath together, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day, your evening, your night, whatever it is you are off to do next, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.